Hey everyone, Chris here. And if I seem excited in this video, it's because I am finally making the series of videos that I set out to make when I started my YouTube channel. And this is the first video in that series. And what we're talking about is getting you into cybersecurity. Um, the best way to think about this is in these series of videos, we're going to take a holistic approach. And yeah, I just used that word, but it actually applies here for once. We're going to take a holistic approach and we're going to take a look at everything that you need to consider when you're trying to break into cybersecurity. I know when I first started, I didn't know what to study. I didn't know what employers wanted. I didn't know how to decipher the job descriptions and the job postings on websites like Indeed. Because believe it or not, that's a skill set in itself. It's unfortunate, but it's true. So in this first video, I'm going to help you decipher some of these job descriptions, the postings. I'm going to help you decide what's worth your time to apply to, what's not, and what skill set they may be looking for. Now, before I go any further, let me remind you, my name is Chris Ray. I'm pretty active on Twitter. You can find me on LinkedIn. I have a website with all my old videos and blogs. It's infosecforhumans.com. And then last, what would a call to action be without asking you to subscribe here? Leave a thumbs up on this video and let me know in the comments below if you like this video's topic. Okay, so step one. You're brand new. Maybe you have a little bit of IT experience. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're transitioning from being a PE teacher. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Evan. I know all about that, man. I'm going to help you try and figure out, distill down what I did to get you there quickly. So number one, I like going to Indeed.com. Go there, punch in what you're looking for, and security analyst is a pretty generic title right now. Security engineer, I don't know why, but it carries a little more, assumed experience with it. But you can also look there because the titles really don't mean anything if you haven't figured this out yet. Due to COVID, I'm searching. Obviously you can see I live in Michigan, but spend a lot of time looking in remote. There's a lot of remote hiring going on, and I think that trend's only going to be going up. So you could punch in remote or just leave that empty, hit find jobs, and it will return the search results you see here. I went through here and looked at most of these, and most of these are pretty bad. I specifically landed on this one. Zendesk, I'm sorry. I'm not picking on you. I don't really even know your product. I know you guys carry great reviews in the community. I swear to God, I'm not picking on you guys. So just bear with me. I know job descriptions don't always take a priority. This is not a video bashing Zendesk at all, but let me just get right into what I found. So when we're looking at this job description, there's always going to be fluff, things that you don't need to read, and then there's going to be the very detailed parts, the parts that will tell you, hey, this seems like a good fit for me. I should apply to this. And in this job ad here, really the job description is the most detailed part of the entire description. That's not always the case. Sometimes you'll find way more detail down in the what you bring to the role or what you'll be doing every day kind of area. In this case, just reading this job description, you could stop there and know whether or not you're a good fit. And unfortunately, this job description is kind of vague. It doesn't really give you a lot to go off from. So you go a little bit further down and you look here and you say, well, what do I get to do every day? And these are really generic and vague too. It says you'll facilitate effective and efficient execution. You'll cultivate a culture of openness and transparency. You'll bring structure to program definitions. It doesn't really say what you're doing. At a high level, this could be a position in a financial team. This could be a position in an architectural team. This could be a position in any number of business units. It doesn't really, get specific to cybersecurity. So that's unfortunate. You can't really tell by looking at it what you bring to the role. Again, the same problem exists here. Kind of just generic and vague. Strong collaboration, planning, influence, and prioritization and time management skills. Well, I hope everybody that's a professional has those skills. An ability to interact and communicate effectively with others at all levels of the organization. Again, these are kind of minimum requirements for anybody working in a business. Able to drive outcomes within specified timelines. Can you do your work and get it done on time? Open to flexible working hours when needed. Again, that's pretty generic. There's really nothing in here. In Zendesk, I swear, I'm not picking on you guys. And then it goes on at the bottom here. It just describes. So after reading this, do you feel like you'd be a good fit? I don't know of anybody who would read this and feel like they're a good fit unless they've worked this specific role at Zendesk before and they're like, hey, I know exactly what that is. I'm going to apply to it. So funnily enough, and if that's a word, I don't know, but I'm using it. You go to the very next job description down and it's kind of different. Now, I've never heard of Vizio Inc. They're out of Dallas, Texas. And they say Vizio is looking for an energetic security operations analyst. Okay, so maybe a SOC role. About you. And if you notice, first things first, this is what you should take away from this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullet points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bullet points. And then that's basically the entire job description. Compare this, what you see here, to this. There's a big difference there. So when we're looking at it, it says about you. You have 2 years of experience in IT security operations. Okay, that's defined. You're able to manage and update and practice incident response plan. Experience with the SIEM log event management tools. Experience with next-gen AV and EDR tools. Experience with open source and commercial forensic tools. Experience with vulnerability assessments. Immediately, way more specific. Either you have these skills or you don't. And if you have these skills, or maybe you've played with these skills in a lab, you've stood up, Elasticsearch, the Elk stack. Maybe you've downloaded Splunk and demoed that, and you've played around with it. You know what? Hey, I would apply to this and say, be honest and upfront. Don't lie about anything, but say, hey, listen, I've got the drive. I downloaded these tools. I played with them on my own time, and I really enjoyed it. I think this one's better than the other, and here's why. If you can elaborate on that and talk to it a little bit, you'd be surprised how willing a hiring manager would be to pick up somebody like that. Moving down here, it goes into what you'll do. So look at it. It tells you, hey, you're going to be working on logarithm. Respond to day-to-day incidents with assistance from the MSSP. So that's a little bit of an indication there. So you might be working in a small team here that's partnered with an MSSP SOC. So you're going to get some of the more interesting events. The MSSP is going to get sort of the more mundane stuff. You're going to manage the AV and EDR tools. You're going to manage DLP. You're going to do something with file activity permissions and sharing activity in Varonis. You're going to monitor firewall activity, Palo Alto. You're going to monitor Qualys vulnerability assessments. So there you go. It's calling out specific tools that you'll be working with. Now, if you remember, we go back here to the Zendesk. No specific tools are called out. No specific processes are called out. It doesn't tell you anything about what you'll be doing or what you'll be doing it with or your day-to-day stuff. You come back here. This is just a great example of a really good job description that's gonna, if I was looking for a job and I seen this and I was like, hey, I fit the bill for maybe half of these, I'd be applying to this. Whereas compared to this one, I just feel like it's going to be a black hole. And as we know, applying to a job is probably a 20 to 30 minute process at a minimum, because you're tailoring your resume and your cover letter for every job, right? I mean, that takes time. You can't just use the same resume and cover letter for all of the jobs that you're applying to. So you're investing a good portion of every day by applying to a job. You should be applying to the jobs that you feel like are going to be a good fit so that you're not wasting your time. All right, moving over here. I found another one here. This is interesting to point out. When you're looking at who the hiring company is, it's really important to keep in mind not all hiring companies are who you're going to be working for, and sometimes their name will give it away. I'd have, just looking at this ProTech search, I'd be willing to bet this is a headhunter or a recruitment firm. They're out there hired by a company to go out and find somebody. And another key word here is direct hire. So they're saying, hey, you're not going to work for ProTech. We're going to recruit you to work for this other company. Direct hire is usually better than, being a contractor. Not always, but just in general. But these are some indications that this company that they're hiring into may not know exactly what they need. So they're relying on a recruiter to go out and help them find that specific person. Just, some insight, something to keep in mind. It says option to work remote, required to attend quarterly on-site meetings, must already have permanent right to work, not seeking a contractor. This role implements and maintains information security solutions in conjunction with an IT team of 120 employees. So an IT team of 120 employees, that will give you an idea of how large the organization is. That's a pretty good sized organization if they have 120 IT team members. Down here, not the greatest what they're looking for. They want somebody with Security Plus or CASP or GSEC or CISP. That's kind of all over the board. Not very specific there. They do give a pay range. Let me just tell you right now, if the pay range is double what you're making now or triple what you're making now, or it's a lot more than what you're making, don't feel like that means that they're seeking somebody with the skill set that's way over your head. Not the case at all. That just means they're looking for a very specific person, and you may be it. benefits. That's all kind of standard stuff. So I just wanted to point this out. This is a good learning lesson here. Keep an eye at who's hiring. Keep an eye out for keywords like direct hire, work with clients, that sort of thing. You're going to be working with a recruiter. Spend some time researching what that might mean. If you don't know yet, sometimes dealing with a recruiter can be a little tricky. So, like I said at the beginning of this video, this is part one in a multi-part series. We're going to cover all sorts of things. This one was looking at job descriptions, how to decipher them, how to know when to apply, and how to know when to skip it. The next video, or the next series of videos, I'm going to cover things like the burp suite, like Splunk, like Wireshark, and TCP dump. And then we're going to get into things like what's a vulnerability management program look like, and how can you talk about vulnerability management programs effectively during a job interview. Essentially, what I'm going to do is every video in this series is a video designed for me, 10 years ago, when it wasn't quite 10 years ago, but 10 years ago when I was starting out. If I had a 10-minute video on a very narrow subject that I knew I could watch it, and at the end of it I'd be that much better and I'd be that much more prepared for getting into cybersecurity, I would have watched those videos. So I'm making these videos for the old me, or maybe my son, when he gets older, hey, he wants to follow in my footsteps and go into cybersecurity, he can watch these as well. Now, of course, the tool names and some of the processes will probably be a little different, but I guarantee you the fundamentals will remain. So again, my name is Chris Ray. I'm on InfoSec for Humans here on YouTube. If you want, subscribe below. You can always unsubscribe later. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this, and if there's something specific that you would like to see in the future. Have a good one.